Here comes iPhone into the room. Okay, hi. So hi everyone, it's lovely to see you all. I'm Corinne, one of the coordinators of the OLIVE program. This autumn we are just running some few sessions to help people orient themselves towards higher education maybe, and then there will be some specific sessions on completing applications starting from next week, actually 3 sessions. And then afterwards, in November, there will also be 3 sessions on IELTS with the teacher, Jan Harriman, who's done quite a lot of this work already with some of you, but some of you, this may be new. And then in between, we also have some seminars, some academic seminars, so where you will get some practice if you come along in speaking and listening in an academic forum. So you will hear a presentation and then you will have a discussion, just like you were in a university seminar room. So that's what's coming later in the autumn. But for now, we're very pleased to have with us 2 people who have a lot of helpful information, I think, for many of you. Ilaria, who is from RefuAid, who works a lot with, people who are bringing their qualifications from one country and bringing them to this country here, and who may also have issues with qualifying their English for their professional work here. And then we also have with us Rosie from Refugee Education UK, and she will describe the work that REUK does, and particularly its work around higher education, how it supports students as well. So I think I should hand over first to Ilaria. You can see in the chat that people are putting comments, and please do, if you want, note any questions in the chat, or of course just save them up, because I think Ilaria will be happy to answer questions afterwards. Is that right?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Hi everyone. Thank you for inviting me. Hi everyone. My name is Ilaria, and I am the head of the language program at RefuAid. So just to give you a little overview of what RefuAid does, it's a charity that is based in London. However, we work all across the UK. We support refugees and asylum seekers to access higher education and to get back into employment. We do so across 3 different programs: the language program, the loan and requalification program, and the employment program. So these 3 projects are all interconnected with each other. So I am part of the language program, and let's say it's kind of the first step, which means that we support all applicants with language tuition that they need either to get back into employment or to access a university, which means that we can support with IELTS if you need to go to university. Universities can accept as well alternative language exams such as Langcert or Duolingo. So we can support you with all that part. We can also support with language exams that you need to requalify your professions. So for example, if you are an healthcare professional, you might need to sit either the OET or the IELTS. We can support you with that. And we do so through partnerships with British Council accredited schools and universities all across the UK. So at the moment, we partner with all, let's say, 138 institutions all around the UK. And each school offered to us free spaces in their courses. So it means that you can attend the classes for free, either face-to-face or online, based on where you are located, based on availability, based on the spaces, let's say, that the school can offer. But you can access these courses for free. And from our end, RefuAid will support you with transportation expenses. So you can attend these courses. If you need to go face-to-face, you need to take a bus or a train, we can pay for that. And then ultimately, we can pay for your exam, either IELTS, OET, or whichever exam. And we can pay up to 2 attempts. Then, if after you sit your language exam, you want to go to university, then we will support you with university applications, although it's not something that we really do. So we tend to maybe signpost you or seek advice from third parties, from other organizations such as Refugee Education UK. Otherwise, if you need to get into employment, we will then support you either with employment opportunity or through the loan and requalification program. We can support you with a loan up to £10,000 free interest loan to pay for your training courses and qualifications that you need to requalify in your profession in the UK. So let's say this is what we do. Again, we have schools all across the UK. We are currently supporting on our language program almost 400 students. We have a waiting list. So if you apply to us, it may take some time until we get back to you. We don't have a specific time frame, but I would say probably 2-3 weeks. But yeah, at the moment we are like extremely busy. We are basically most of our spaces in the schools are free, but are busy, are taken. But hopefully in the next few months we're gonna have some more spaces. However, we continue to work actively. We also have a volunteering program. So if you cannot attend face-to-face classes, we work closely with a community of English teachers that they volunteer with us, and they offer one-to-one English tuition online for our students. So yeah, this is pretty much what we do from the language side. I mean, if you have any question, or if I've been clear enough. It's been a very long day, so just let me know if I wasn't clear, if I missed something. You're muted, Corinne.
Oh yeah, sorry. How can I ask how people can access that the language program? Is there a special email or a form or something like this?
Yes, so we have on our website, on the RefuAid website, there is a form that you can just fill in. I'm happy to drop the link of it in the chat, and then Corinne, I can send it. If you want to.
That would be very helpful. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do that. Let me share here the. Okay, I dropped the application form. Yes, Soumya, you can ask a question.
Hello, hi.
Hi.
Yeah, I got the link like 2 years ago.
Yes.
And applied for the language program like 3 times ago, and every time one from your organization contact me and tell me that there is a lot of queue or long list, and they will contact me when there is a space, and they give me like assessment exam, and I did it, but no one contact me and tell me when I can't do that course, or I don't know what happened, but I'm 3 times.
Yeah, so I can see I have your application in front of me. Yeah, I can see that you spoke with us back in May. So just to clarify as well, as we have a very long waiting list, we tend to prioritize people who already has an offer, a conditional offer from a university. So if you want to go to university, what we would advise you to do is to apply first, because you don't need the language requirement before attending, before applying for university. So apply for your course first, then come to us with a conditional offer, and we will then be able to prioritize you for IELTS classes. Now, Soumya, I'm not sure about your specific case, but I'm very happy to drop my email address here. You can just send me an email after that, and I can see what we can do.
Okay, yeah, and one of your colleagues told me that if I had a conditional offer, that means I have priority upon the other people's. And then I applied and got my offer and contact your organization before. And I don't know what happened. Maybe there is something wrong, but I did that many times. Like I told you, that's 2 years ago. I'm trying, but no answer or no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
nothing
no,
happened.
Yeah, no, I can see that. Do you have an offer now? A conditional offer?
No, my offer is gone.
Your offer is gone. Okay, that's fine. You can just send me an email and I'm happy to discuss, let's say, your case
Okay.
realistically, and we can see what we
Sorry
can
for
do.
that.
No, don't worry,
Okay.
don't worry.
Okay, I will.
Okay, so that's very helpful though, to know that, you know, you are giving priority to people who have an offer, but I guess it gets very busy at certain times because everybody gets their offers and then they are trying to get their IELTS in the summer before they.
Yes, so basically this is what we had to deal with during summer. So I would say that we tend to have an income of applicants with the conditional offer probably from March onwards. Obviously, there are people that are, get back in touch with us quite late, maybe around like July or August. So we have like so many people with an offer that they have like quite tight deadlines to sit the IELTS exam. So this year we managed to support more than almost 60 offer holders, and just a few didn't manage to get into our program. However, we will pay for the exam regardless, which means that if we are unable to offer IELTS tuition because our schools are busy, we will tend to support anyway students with an exam. So for example, we work very closely with LangCert. LangCert is now an exam that is widely accepted by most of the universities in the UK. And this is an exam that we have voucher for that. So we don't need to spend money. Students don't need to spend money. It's a fairly easy exam comparing to the IELTS. I mean, the IELTS is a bit more structured, is a bit more a bit more a pain, if I can say. LangCert is a bit more straightforward, and we share resources. So we will do our best anyway to support as many people as possible. Obviously, I mean, we are a charity. We tend to support so many people, and it's gonna happen, like probably in the case of Somia, that some people are gonna just be left out, and I apologize for that. But again, I mean, in your case, Somia, again, I'm very happy to look into that and trying to support you because I do understand that is frustrating.
So just to clarify, if people are getting offers, they should really, and they need IELTS or something else, they should really come to you directly. They get their offer
as soon as possible, because especially so when it comes to summer, we were going to basically we're gonna just support offer holders almost. We are gonna kind of leave on a side all the other professions because we do understand that people that need to start university need to sit their language exams in a specific, they have like a very tight deadline. So I would say if people could could submit university applications just to get back in touch with us as soon as they have a conditional offer.
hello?
LangCert, yes. Yes, it's another exam. It's very similar to the IELTS, so it has reading, listening, writing, and speaking. It lasts around like 3 hours, so in terms of timing as well, it's pretty similar. It's just slightly easier.
And are you saying that most universities accept it? I think I've seen universities accept it.
Yes, so most of the universities accept LangCert. Fair number of universities are accepting Duolingo, so we can support with Duolingo as well, but Duolingo is not that common, at least not yet. We also have the possibility to support with the KITE exam. KITE exam is the English exam offered by Kaplan. And the KITE exam is currently accepted by 26 universities. We have a partnership with Kaplan, so we can support students with that as well. So let's say that the difference between Duolingo, Langcert, IELTS is that for those exams, we can support the clients for free. When it comes instead to IELTS, we will pay. We don't have any partnership with British Council or nothing like that. So, and it's almost £200 anyway. And that's the reason as well, before supporting students with an exam, we want to have feedback, positive feedback from a tutor, from a teacher, from anyone that is, in the position to provide feedback. This is just because we can support just with 2 attempts, and sometimes self-study is not enough. I mean, we need proof anyway before spending money, let's say.
Sure. Any more questions about specifically about the English? Are you going to move on to other things, Ilaria, or are you mainly focusing on the English?
It's just it. I mean, I can speak about the loan requalification program, but I guess if mostly everyone wants to go to university, it's not going to be really relevant.
I'm not sure, because some people here may have other qualifications that they want to transfer. Yeah. Is there anybody here who wants to ask about that?
I'm happy to give an overview anyway. Yeah. So just to give an example, let's say a doctor. So a doctor wants come to the UK to requalify here. It will need to go through some specific steps that go from the language to the registration with the board to be professionally qualified here. So for example, a doctor will need to do an OET exam first. OET is the equivalent of the IELTS for healthcare professionals. So from my side, from the language side, we will support with OET provisions, we will pay for the exam. Then once the student has passed the language exam, in order for them to requalify as doctors, they will need to sit some specific exams that they need to proceed with the registration with the General Medical Council. So these exams are called PLABs, and they're very, very, very expensive exams. So in that case, if you have refugee status, you can apply for our loan program. So my colleagues from the loan requalification will do a kind of assessment, a kind of interview with you to see if you are entitled to the loan. And after that, if yes, they will be able to give you up to £10,000 free interest. So it means that you will need to give the money back, but they're not going to be interest on top of that. And you can use those money to pay for all those requalification exams that you necessarily need to requalify in your profession in the UK. So it's just, I mean, it's worth it to highlight again, it's just for refugees. So if you still have an asylum claim that is pending, unfortunately, we won't be able to support with any loan. In that case, you might need to support yourself with maybe, some grants application that we can definitely help you to do, but you won't be entitled to any loan. Then once you register to a board, or once you pass all your exam to fully requalify in your profession, we can then support you with employment opportunities. So with the employment team, we tend to organize employability events with employers around the UK. Employers can be, for example, BP, PwC, NHS, all these kind of top employers all around the UK, and we do this kind of employability networking events so that you have the opportunity to meet the employer. They're gonna be able to advise you when it comes to interview prep, preparing your CV, what you can expect from the work environment in the UK in that specific sector, and so on. I can see I have working experience as journalist for no degree. Okay, so you have experience as a journalist for 2 years, but you don't have any degree in journalism. So here again, I'm happy to drop my email.
12 years, I think 12 years.
Yeah, 12 years. Yeah. Yeah, but not degree in journalism. So again, I'm happy to drop my email. You can send me an email, Zarit, with your specific circumstances, and I can share them with you the learning plan. So what you need to do specifically in the UK to requalify as a journalist, and what you need to do if you're missing some of the documents, which is now you don't have a degree, but for example, from my experience, what we see with forcibly displaced people is that even for those people that they have qualifications, they have certifications, most of the cases they are back home and they are unable to to get the physical papers of those certifications that sometimes are necessary to get back to work in the UK. So just send me an email, explain me your situation, and I'm gonna share all the info with you or what you need to do to requalify as a journalist.
Because I don't know if you can expand on this, Ilaria, but sometimes people come with, I mean, especially journalism, you know, people join the National Union of Journalists, which is the body that supports journalists, and they don't necessarily have a degree.
Yeah, I mean, again, on top of my mind, I don't remember step by step each professional what they need to do. I tend to look at learning plans because I work with the language program. So we have the learner qualification team that they usually give career advice. But don't worry, because I have like a folder full of documents with for each profession, step by step, what they need to do. And I'm very happy to share these documents with whoever they need them.
That's great, thank you. So for anyone, even if it's not obvious, like maybe doctor or engineer or something, you can still have a step-by-step guide to how to.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks so much, Ilaria. Any other questions at the moment about how you might be able to ask useful questions of RefuAid, how they might be able to help you in transitioning into work in the UK? Not at the moment, looks like.
No. Anyway, my email is in the chat. So if anyone would like to have a chat a bit more private or needs any advice, just let me know. I'd be very happy to speak with all of you.
Thank you, Laurie. That's really, really helpful. Thank you. And we will definitely send out the chat and also the chat about from the last session, which I think we didn't send out. So yeah, thanks. Should we move on to Rosie, who's going to talk about what REUK, Refugee Education UK, does and how that can maybe help you out, help out some of the people here.
Thanks, Corinne. Can I just check that you can hear me? Because I've just had to put my headphones in. Is my mic working all right? Yeah? Okay, cool. Yeah, so I work for Refugee Education UK. I'm the higher education coordinator there. And REUK, as I think Corinne has already mentioned, is a charity which works to support young people who have experienced forced migration to access education, to do better in education, and to have opportunities to use that education for good. So that's kind of our central aim. And we try to achieve that aim through a variety of different programs. Some of those programs work directly with young people, and some of the programs work to try to change the landscape in which we all exist. So we do that through research, and we also do it through working with organizations, other organizations like schools and universities. So we try to train universities and schools. So we really believe that education is key to helping people build positive futures, but we also know that there are lots of challenges and barriers that you may face and have to overcome when trying to access education. So we exist to try to make that easier. So I'm going to give a kind of whistle-stop tour through those 5 programs and hopefully explain how you can get involved in each of those programs if you think they'll be helpful for you. And as Ilaria said, feel free to stop me at any points. You can shout out with questions or put them in the chat as well. All right, so the first program, and this is the very first program that was set up at ReUK when it started, which I think was about 15 years ago now, and that was the mentoring program. So this is for people who are in education already and who are looking for a little bit of extra support with their studies. So you'll be matched with a one-to-one mentor, and that's a volunteer, so somebody who is wanting to give up some time to help somebody with their education. And you meet that mentor for an hour once a week in a public place like a library or a cafe, and you can bring your college work or your university work or schoolwork, wherever you are, to those sessions. So that's mentoring, and that happens in London. So we've got 4 hubs across London, and then in Birmingham, Cambridge, Peterborough, and Oxford. So if you're in one of those places, you can access mentoring. Unfortunately, it is only for people aged 14 to 25. So there is an age cap on that, and you do have to be in education or about to be in education to access that. If you want to be involved in mentoring, if you think that you would benefit from having a mentor, you can have a look on our website. I'll put that in the chat. In fact, I'll put the website in the chat at the end, and you can find the mentoring page really easily on there, and contact the mentoring team that way. The next program is the Educational Progression Program, and that's the program that I'm involved in. So this is for people who are not yet in education but want to be, or if you are in education but you're experiencing barriers to progressing with education, or you're experiencing any issues really around education and you need some advice. So we have 3 teams within the progression team. We've got a further education team, so they support people who are at college, so anything that's age 16 plus education, but not university. Then we have a higher education team, that's me and my manager, and that's for people at university or wanting to go to university. And then we have a welcome team, and they do a wide range of things across all different stages of education. So the further education team and the higher education team, I'm sorry, 1 second. I'm so sorry, Errol, I'm just in a meeting. 1 second, I'm so sorry, just bear with me. I'm so sorry, just being interrupted to be told there's a party downstairs. I'm so sorry. Clearly an important message to be shared. So where was I? Yeah, so we have the further education team, the higher education team, and the welcome team. And one of the key services that all of those teams are involved with is an advice line. So we have an email address that you can write to with any question that you might have about education, and one of us will get back to you. So yeah, whatever difficulty you might be experiencing, or if you think that you need further information about something, you can write to us on the advice line email. And again, I'll put that in the chat at the end. We also run workshops for young people on a range of different topics. So we have one called Applying to University with Refugee Status. We have another one called Applying to University as an Asylum Seeker. And you may already know that the reason we have 2 different workshops around applying for university, depending on your immigration status, is because if you have refugee status, you can apply for student finance, so student loans. If you don't, if you're an asylum seeker and you're waiting for your asylum application to be resolved, then you need to apply for a scholarship. So in that workshop, we talk about scholarships, and we go through the process of how to apply for a scholarship. We also have a YouTube channel which has some useful videos, I think, on scholarship applications. So I can send the link for that too, because applying for scholarships might be something that I imagine some of you are interested in, and it's probably one of the more complicated areas of applying to university. Okay, I think that's everything about educational progression team. We then have the educational wellbeing team. And this team helps people with perhaps more complex or broader difficulties that they might be experiencing, which are impacting their ability to focus on education. So that might be housing, or how to get immigration advice, or difficulties that they're experiencing with their finances. So the educational wellbeing team are experts on some of those things and can offer support and advice. If you think that that is relevant to you, again, you can contact the advice line and they can tap into the wellbeing team that way. Then there is the educational impact team, and this team are all about helping give young people a platform to use your voice and to have opportunities to make change. So some young people who are involved in our UK Voice co-facilitate some of our campaigns and some of our training sessions with universities. But even more importantly, they help influence the direction of our UK and the decisions that we take. So we have a board of young people, just like we have a board of trustees. And they shape the way that the charity runs. And then we have a research team, and sometimes young people are involved in our research. We have youth researchers and peer researchers as well. Okay, so that is all of the programs that we have at REUK. I think probably the educational progression program is the most relevant for most people here, who I understand probably are interested in going to university. So yeah, I guess maybe I'll stop there and see if anybody has any questions, and then I can explain more specifically about the higher education program if as and when we get questions coming up. Is that okay?
Lovely. Thank you very much. I can see somebody who may be asking a question.
Sorry, I'll open the chat.
They've put something about their recent experience in university. So, okay. In fact, this might be something that Ilaria and you could contribute to, Rosie. I'm not sure.
Yeah, okay. So yes, so this is Has. I can see that you have graduated from Iran, living in Middlesbrough, and you're a surveying engineer. So Has, are you looking to go to university? Yeah, thanks, Corinne.
Thank you. Thank you.
Has, do you want to ask something about, or you want to continue to study? Do you want to transfer your qualification also, or just to continue and do a master's, for instance? Hi, Marianne.
Hello.
Hi. We're just waiting for Has to get back to us, I think.
Maybe whilst Has does that, I can just share a little bit of, if it's possible. So maybe I'll just share a bit of general information that's maybe something I should have mentioned before about currently. Has, I don't know what your immigration status is, and you don't need to share that here in a public setting. You can email me and we can continue that conversation there. But if somebody has refugee status and they're applying for student loans, at the moment there is a rule that means that you can only apply for student loans to do a qualification which is higher than one which you already hold. So if you have completed completed your bachelor's degree in your home country, and you wanted to get student finance to do another bachelor's degree in the UK, unfortunately, you wouldn't be eligible for student loans to do that. If you're an asylum seeker and you want to apply for a scholarship in order to go to university, you have to check the requirements and the eligibility criteria of each of the scholarships that you're applying to. Sometimes they have that same rule, sometimes they don't. Okay. It may be that you want to do a master's, in which case that's okay, because that's a higher qualification than what you already hold. And that is a very quick explanation of that rule. It's actually quite complicated, the way that student finance work out what you're eligible for. Sometimes if you've done a bachelor's in a different country, it won't be equivalent to a full bachelor's in the UK, and so you can sometimes get funding for some of a bachelor's in the UK, but it's quite complicated, so I won't go into that too much now.
So Ilaria, you can just say here, presumably, that for Has, if he wanted to transfer his qualification, he can't at this point, right? Because he is an asylum seeker.
Yeah, so I guess it really depends on exactly what you want to do. Because if you were a survey engineer in your own country, you might want either to do a master's or just improve your English. So just do general English until you get either your permission to work or you get refugee status, and then just work as an engineer. This is because to requalify as an engineer in the UK, you don't really need to do anything. You just need to have like a previous experience that you might have already, and you just need a strong level of English. So what we usually, you already have permission to work. So it depends on what you want to do. If you want to do a master's, you can then apply. If you would like to do our language program, you can apply for a master. We can support you with the IELTS, and you can study for 1 year to, you know, like to boost some of your skills. If you want to work, it's absolutely fine either. I mean, you can, again, I would improve first general English. I'm not sure what's your level of English, but to get, I guess, you know, to present yourself in front of an employer, you need to have at least between B2 and C1, which is between upper intermediate and advanced level at least. So if you want to get some more advice, again, I mean, you can just drop me an email and I can put you in touch with some of my colleagues who might be able to advise you.
So, and then in terms of masters, you know, there will be a long process, which Rosie has been describing, about, if you're still an asylum seeker, about applying for the masters and then also applying for scholarships. And there is this year a recent program from University of Oxford to help people apply for masters.
Sorry, Corinne, we lost you for a moment there.
Oh, sorry. So there is this year, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay. University of Oxford, the refugees actually at the University of Oxford are running a program to help people apply for masters, especially for masters, and for the scholarships for masters. So we should send you, in fact, it will go out on the email again, the link for that program, because you might find that useful. And then I guess, Rosie, you could also support, as Olive could really, I guess, you could mentor somebody if they were at that age to go into a master's application.
Yeah, unfortunately, we have very limited places on our kind of scholarship application support program. If we do get young people coming to us to ask for help with that, we tend to refer them to Olive. So yeah. What was I also going to say? Just about the Marks scholarship. So there's a suite of private scholarships that I can talk about as well. One of them is called the Marks Scholarship, which is specifically for masters. And you can, it doesn't matter which university you apply to, the private scholarships allow you to study at any university, whereas most sanctuary scholarships are attached to the university that you apply to. Yeah, whereas the Marks Scholarship is not. So I can put that in the email that you'll send around as well, Corinne, if that's helpful.
Sure, thank you.
Sorry, I wanted to add as well that from the RefuAid side, so we are unable to help throughout the whole process when applying for a scholarship, but we have some documents that explain like step by step what you need to do. We can double check the personal statements, we can provide supporting letters, and we can share with whoever needs some useful links that goes from displaced students to Refugee Education UK to STAR, where you can just put your details, in the sense that you can put what's your immigration status, which university you want to apply for, the course that you intend to apply for, and it's gonna give you automatically a full list of all the scholarships that you could try to apply for.
So there are lots of different ways for us to get some help with this, actually. There are a couple of questions. Do you want to, I mean, Indira is wanting to ask about her existing degree. And I think Indira wants to do something different from her existing degree. Indira, do you want to expand? She says yes.
Hi, okay.
Hi.
Hi, Ms. Karen. Actually, yeah. I own a degree from the University of Namibia in teaching. So I'm trying to switch to health or medicine, actually a different direction. So I tried applying at University, but University of West England, but they rejected me due to my status, or maybe due to financial. They didn't really mention that due to my status, but then they mentioned that due to my financial status or financial issues. That's why they rejected me. So now I'm actually at City of Bristol College doing health and social care, level 3. So now I wanted to know if I can still continue with the foundation course, for what is the way forward, and I'm just really lost. I'm just trying to get somewhere, but I don't know. Yeah.
Indira, I'm very sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's better. I think there was some interference.
Yeah.
I own a degree from University of Namibia.
Yeah.
And I tried applying for a foundation course at UWE, University of West England, but then they rejected me due to financial, or I don't know whether it's due to my status, which I'm not granted yet. But currently, right now, I'm doing health and social care at the City of Bristol College, just to be somewhere, because I really don't know what to do. I tried in, yes. From teaching to health or medicine, that's what I'm trying to reach to get into.
Okay, I think Rosie
might hear enough, or
a little bit, but there is a lot of background noise. But I think we have an idea, like that you did teaching degree. You don't want to transfer that. You are trying to do a medical professional degree of some kind. And you are now currently doing health and social care, which at different levels can lead you into a medical degree if you get to level 3 with that. But I don't know.
I'm doing level 3 now currently.
Okay, fine. Well, that can lead you into something. Rosie, do you want to say anything though about the difficulties of doing one degree after another?
Yeah, sure. So it's really great, Indira, that you're doing a level 3 qualification, because as Corinne says, that is that will lead to university applications. That's we normally say that you need a level 3 qualification in the subject that you want to study and level 2 qualifications in maths and English or IELTS. So it sounds like you're on the right track. I think I understood though that you are currently, that your immigration claim hasn't been resolved. So you will need to apply for scholarships to allow you to study. And sometimes scholarships will have conditions where if you already hold a degree, they won't let you apply for a scholarship. So you need to read really carefully when you're looking at which universities to apply to. A, you need to make sure that you only apply to universities that have scholarships available. And B, you need to check the criteria of those scholarships and make sure that you're eligible because you already have a degree. There is then the complication that sometimes scholarships will only be for the period during which you're not eligible for student finance. So if partway through your degree, you got your status and you could then apply for student finance, you may then not be eligible for student finance because you already hold a degree. Because you can only, as I was explaining before, normally as things stand currently, you can only get student finance for qualifications which are higher than the one that you already hold and you already have an undergraduate degree. Does that make sense?
I think the other thing is that we don't know whether, like with lots of people with degrees, we don't know whether it will be assessed as a degree in the UK. So it may not be assessed as a full degree. We don't know actually.
Yeah. And to find that out, you can use a service called ENIC. You do have to pay for that service, and sometimes universities will be able to use that service for free. So sometimes you can write to admissions departments at universities and say, this is my qualification, this is my degree, can you tell me what it would be equivalent to in the UK? And sometimes you can get that information for free without having to pay for ENIC. The other thing just to mention, because you want to do health, there are some exceptions to this rule I'm talking about. So some qualifications are excluded and you can still get student finance. So I can put the link that explains which qualifications, but in order to get student finance, you will have to wait until you have got refugee status.
Maria, I think we could have, do you think you could mute if you're not talking? It will be helpful.
Oh, sorry about that.
No worries. No worries. So this makes sense, doesn't it? That we know that there are shortage occupations in health and so on. So we wouldn't expect, you know, people to be penalized if they want to do a health qualification. So that's great. Ilaria has put the link to ENIC there.
Yeah, so I wanted to say as well that I think that ENIC is a very good starting point to understand the value of your qualifications here in the UK, because you might hold, for example, a degree or a high school diploma from your country, but it's useful to understand how what's the value of it here, because at times you might need to bridge that gap that goes between your previous qualification and the university. And you can do, for example, colleges, access to higher education courses, and so on. So that's a good starting point. In terms of like us, RefuAid, helping with that, so we tend to help people to pay with ENIC. However, they need to be part already of our language program, and also we need to understand we need to understand why you need the ENIC. Obviously, it's something that is useful for everyone, but from our end, in order for us to pay for that, we need to understand what's the role of it for you to requalify. So if it's strictly necessary, we will definitely pay for it. Also, because there is no like a real cost for that. It depends on how many documents you need to translate, how many documents you need to get the statement of comparability for. So the cost, it really depends on some of our clients spend like 35 quid and some spend like 120 pounds. So it really depends on. But yeah, I think that, as Rosie said, that's a very good starting point to understand the value of your qualifications in the UK.
And I think Rosie is also right that very often university will do that for you. They will take a look at what you have, the university, the country, the level of qualification, and they will make a kind of translation. But at the same time, sometimes if you have more, for instance, experience or something else, you know, the university will make an arrangement with you. So even if INEC says one thing, you know, sometimes the university can be persuaded to take you because you have, for instance, a lot of experience or something like that. Yeah, Mohammed has his hand up. Would you like to ask a question, Mohammed?
Yes, hi again, everyone. I have a question about medicine. Like, I was a medical student before in my home country and studied about 3 semesters of medicine. So I came here in the UK. It's been 2 years, and I have indefinite leave to remain. So I sent an email to University of Bristol, and they said that they can't do transfer in medicine, so you're not able to go like from any other country university or college to the UK university, so we don't accept any transfer. So what I want to say is, my question is, if I change my field, if I choose any other subject to study, so what are the steps for me? Do I need to start from the 0 point again, or is there any other options for me? Because when I'm just talking to them, they just keep telling me, go to college, do GCSEs. You need to have 5, 4, 6 GCSEs like this, and they just don't know what to do. It's kind of like a long time just trying to find a way.
Yeah, I'm really sorry, Mohammed, to hear that. It must be really frustrating for you. My understanding, and Ilaria might have a better understanding of medicine, but my understanding is that it's one of the courses that you can't transfer prior learning. Unfortunately, universities don't let you start and pick up where you left off. So unfortunately, if you did want to continue with medicine, you would have to apply to begin from year 1. Because you have indefinite leave to remain, you would be able to apply for student finance to do that. There are some exams, some special exams for medicine that you have to take as part of the application. You may already know about those. So sorry, we've just been plunged into darkness. So that's the case for medicine. That isn't the case for all degrees. Other subjects, so you could do something related. I'm having a mind blank and can't think of anything. Let's just say biology, for example. You may then be able to transfer some of your prior learning and start partway through a biology degree. And that would be up to each individual university to make that decision as to where they would let you start. So my advice would be to write to the admissions departments of a university that you're interested in going to, explain this is how many years I've completed, and any other qualifications that you have. So qualifications in English and maths, and then they would then advise you on where you would be able to start from. Does that make sense?
Yes, actually, I tried a lot, but they were just keep telling me to have the GCC because they just looking me like at the point I'm like a person from the UK, like they need to apply the rules like what they're applying for the UK students. Same, they need to apply for me because when you grow up in the UK, you go to school. After that, you need to have GCSEs, go to college, and after that, you can apply for university, any subject you would like to learn in the future. So that's what they want me to do, and it's kind of like it will take too much time for having those qualification and requirements that they need. It's fine for me to be in year 1 in university, but they're not accepting that.
Have you got some certificates from your other semesters, Mohammed, or even from high school?
Yeah. I got my secondary school all marks, grades, everything, percentage, and qualification of like chemistry, biology, everything, and also from medical school that I was in Afghanistan. I got my uh, mark sheet, everything, like studying chemistry, biology, anatomy, that stuff. So I have it with me right now. So I don't know, like as we talked before as well, sending email, you know better the situation and my circumstances. So
So I think, you know,
that's
like Rosie said, if you are willing to try another subject like biology and also maybe another university, because Bristol is not the only university in Bristol or nearby, you know, I'm sure Rosie's had experience of this too. You can try sometimes one university and they are telling you go and do your GCSEs, and another university will look at what you did in your own university and your high school and say, yeah, we acknowledge this was level 2 work, level 3 work, and so on. So I don't know if you have tried other universities yet.
yes, I'm sometimes I'm looking at other universities as well, but the requirements are the same, not too much different. But it's like kind of far away because of like the problem with the transport as well, the time, and that's why. So if I want to move from Bristol, I need to have my own accommodation and that stuff. That's why it's getting complicated again.
If I can add something, when it comes to medicine, yes, Rosie said is quite tricky because so many people, so many of our clients, so many people that we're currently supporting, they started their medical degrees in their countries that they needed to flee, and unfortunately they need to restart from the first year. And in so many occasions, even if they apply to start medicine from the first year, their applications are still being rejected. So medicine, I think that is quite complicated, is quite tricky. So I worked with one of my clients and also with George from RefuAid Education UK to support one specific student. So she was from Libya. She studied until the 4th year of medicine and then she had to leave. Last year, she applied to probably 5 or 6 medical schools. She got rejected. It's tricky because then when also myself, I approached the schools asking for the universities, asking for the reasons. Everything was kind of confused. She was told as well to do again a GCSE. So probably something that could work is to get in the first place a statement of comparability, maybe trying to understand the qualifications that you hold previous to your degree from Afghanistan, what's the value of them, especially when it comes to high school. Then I know that is long, but what we did with another of our students was for him to get the statement of comparability, doing 1 year of access to higher education course, is access to medical school. At least he got biology, mathematics, he got marks in English, everything in 1 year, and then he just applied for medical school and he got in. So it's long, it's really long, and I know that it's frustrating, especially when you were already halfway through in your country. But I think that when it comes to medical school, it's something to take into account. It's very tricky. And also when you're applying, as Rosie was saying, you need to do some exams to access the universities that can either be UCAT or BMAT. And if you want information on that, just drop me an email. I'm very happy to share some material so that you can have an idea of what is it. However, to pass those exams, you really need a strong base of biology, maths, and all that kind of stuff that I personally don't like. So yeah, I mean, it's tricky. So what I would tell you, probably what I would advise you to do first is just to get a statement of comparability. See if what you got previous to your university. So if your high school diploma has all those kind of subjects, all that kind of stuff that is necessary to access medical school. If not, you can just bridge the gap with an access to higher education courses. But again, I mean, this is what I would tend to advise, but from what I saw, it really goes case by case. It really depends on from your country of origin. It really depends on so many things. So I don't think that it's so straightforward, unfortunately, on this.
Unfortunately, also access to medicine courses require you to have GCS English and Maths before you start them. Or
Oh
something.
yes, yeah.
So
You mentioned access to medicine, like an access course. What I did was I applied for access to medicine in the city of Bristol College, and they said, "What's the reason you want to study?" I explained all what happened to me and all the circumstances, everything. Sorry about the ring. So they said we can't offer you any like position or any space here for this class because of the you ain't got any JCCs at the moment. You need to have at least biology, maths, English GCSEs. It takes like 2 years of studying, and you need to be on a grade that you need to accept you. So it's not just to pass the JCC. So you need to be on the grades.
yes.
Oh, sorry, Corinne, I'm interrupting you.
No, I was only going to say that you could try, you know, if you are willing to try this, Mohammed, it might be quicker. And for lots of people, they do change. You might try to apply with what you have for a course, for a biology degree or a chemistry degree or something like that. And UE does those degrees, so you could do that in Bristol.
Yeah. I was just going to add as well that sometimes applying for an access course with, as Ilaria said, with their compatibility statements, sometimes persuading colleges is a little bit easier than persuading universities to let you on, and you can offer to do assessments to prove your ability in maths and English. They may then want you to do maths and English GCSE at the same time as the access course. And ReUK can definitely write you emails to the college to help persuade them that your maths and English is at a suitable level to do the access course, if that's helpful. But yeah, that sometimes that there is flexibility there. The other thing I was also just going to say is if you did decide that you prefer to just get on with university and do a different degree, you could also then consider graduate entry medicine. So once you've got a degree in chemistry, say, you can apply to, it's then a 4-year degree to then train to be a doctor.
Yes, and I just wanted to change the subject I want because the medicine. So what you do is they just need from the beginning, from the 0 point, you need to start and grow up to reach the level you need to be in medicine. So I wanted to apply for pharmacology to be a pharmacist. So it's related to medicine and it's kind of like okay for me as well. And if it's possible, any information about that. So I got like all my qualification from secondary school and primary and university in Afghanistan and level 1 English qualification, some other qualifications. So if there's any possibility to do pharmacy.
Yeah, so again, I would start by writing to the admissions teams of the university and saying, these are my qualifications. Would you accept me on the pharmacology degree, and see what they say. But yeah, I would imagine that that will be easier than getting onto the medicine degree. But I would start by speaking to the university directly.
I would definitely start to speak to UWE as well as Bristol, because Bristol takes people with very high levels in A levels and GCSEs. So then that is making it harder for you because they can't tell what your level is from Afghanistan. And maybe they will even not count your qualifications, but UE will count those qualifications.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Yeah. So can I apply for pharmacy, like studying pharmacy in UWE?
Yes, pharmacology or pharmacy. I think both of them are there.
So do I need to like go for any open day or just email the admissions team? Or is there any chance to find a way to just see my documents? What's my documents equivalent for, like, if the, like, any degree in the, like, grades in the UK? So
Yeah, I would start by emailing the admissions team and telling them what your qualifications are. They may want you to use ENIC, as we spoke about before, to get certificates of compatibility or comparability to see exactly what your qualifications compare to in the UK. But the university may not require that. They may be willing to do all of that themselves. So I would start by writing to the university admissions team and saying, these are my qualifications. This is the course I would like to do. Will you consider my application for this year, so 2024, and see what they say. If you need any help writing those emails, we can support you with that too. You can write to our advice email address, which I don't think I'll put that in the chat now. There you go. And if you just maybe mention my name when you write that email, and then you'll get put through to me. And my name is Rosie.
So I think that's really helpful advice, actually, for lots of people to approach directly admissions. And if you get a no, try to find out why and see if there are some maybe errors, because universities don't always understand your qualifications, your history or anything. So, sometimes there are mistakes. And then obviously you can, ReUK is very helpful with that, and Olive will also help if necessary. Yeah.
Actually, the problem is when you want to apply for any course, like college, university, so they think like any like normal student, they know actually the circumstances, what's happening, and what's the reason they want to study, or what's the situation. So because you are applying online and just you see some forms sometimes when you're applying for college, but not anything about you or any problems that you had. And if you go face to face and speak to them, they just say, I will prefer you to just study GCC. That's it. So that's the problem.
Yeah, it can be tricky to get institutions to fully understand your situation. And if we can help with that, then we're really happy to do so. So please do write to us, Mohammed, and we can try to. And I know it shouldn't be the case that they're more willing to listen to an organization than to the individual. But sadly, sometimes that is the case. So please do feel free to ask us for help with that.
All right, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. I will send email.
But also, if I can advise on that, because I think this is something that personally I do as well when I support, like maybe students to get in touch with other admissions or a college. In most of the cases, you have a general inquiry email. You can get in touch with. I don't know if he left the meeting. No, you're still there. I think what you can do, you just go, for example, if you intend to go to college, maybe have a throughout look at the website. You might find the name of a specific person rather than a general email. You could just approach them, explaining the whole situation, why you want to study that specific subject. You can mention as well when it comes to fundings, what are your options? And I must say, like in my experience also, when like students approach colleges or other institutions in this way, they had a bit more of a luck. But I do understand as well that it really depends on who you find in front of you and who is reading that email on that specific day. So I'm sure that, you know, Refugee Education UK can support you, but from our end as well. I mean, if you need any help to get in touch with institutions, if you need any help with, again, supporting letter or help in writing emails, we will be very happy to support you as well on that, because we do understand that it's frustrating, especially when they either don't get back to you or they can get back to you in a very basic way without giving you any, like, you know, the full explanation of what you need to do.
Yes, yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, it's happening sometimes. I was just worried about because last year they just pushed me onto JCC, do biology, JCC, biology, and you need to have some English qualification because they won't accept you in access to medicine or any that stuff. So I haven't got any other option to. I didn't actually know what to do. So I did biology, JCC, and English. I passed them both. So there is just maths. I don't have maths GCC, and now college is not offering me any course. I went there to college. I said that was my situation. I came to the college and they told me what to do, like GCSEs, biology and English qualifications. So I did that. So what do I need to do now? They say we don't know. Apply for any other like GCSE English or any other course or health and social care. So and you need to wait about like 3-4 minutes because there is no space, and you need to apply online. It's kind of yeah.
It's depressing, but I think if you were to start looking at programs that are available in the area that you would like to do, as Ilaria says, if you can see a specific person who is a program leader, that is a good person to approach. But whether you do that or you go through admissions, you need to find that they are going to accept your qualifications, and at what level they will accept your qualifications. And then you do need to, whatever you need to have a certificate or a pass that is equivalent to GCSE in English and maths. Probably you have it already from your prior study. I know there is someone here, I don't know if she's here now, Somia, who did manage to move from medical training in Sudan to a related acceptance to a medical degree in the UK. So it is possible to make those transfers, even though it's tricky. And you are also saying that courses are often full, which is the case. So that makes it difficult as well. But you could also try, one thing that courses really like, especially in the medical or science area, is if you try and get some voluntary experience during your time of applying. That's an advantage. I wonder if there's other questions, though. We've spent quite a lot of time on this medical issue, which is complicated, but it looks like there's lots of support available for Mohammed here. So, yeah. iPhone says my internet is killing me, so I'm sorry, iPhone. Do you have any questions, though?
No.
Good afternoon.
Galaxy, do you have any questions? Galaxy A41.
Yes, my name is Tahir.
Hi, Tahir.
So I've got a question as well, please. So actually, I have a degree in my home country, as you already said. And my major was a petroleum engineering. And last year, I've started applying for different university. And as you already said, I start emailing the admission team first. And I emailed to the admission. And at that time, all my certificate and transcript were in French. And in French language, and I emailed to the admission team, one of the university, which is Bradford University, and they replied to me saying that as your certificate and transcript are in French, we cannot access them. And at that time, I managed to get the translation of my certificate, and when I showed her, she said usually I cannot assess it, but usually a guy from your country should have a license. To apply for the master, you should have a license and should have some note in your license above, which will be 13 above out of 20, and should have also, yes, that's it, and English, and that will be okay to apply for the master. And at that time I've got them all, but when I applied, it was a little bit late, and they replied me this saying that it is late, you cannot look in your application right now, you have to wait until the 2024. But I've applied, but without having enough information on how to apply on master degree, how to do the what do you call this, the letter, I forgot the name, the letter which you have to write to show your skill and different kind of stuff. So I've just did it and applied, but it was too late. So my question is, do you provide any advice on how to apply, how goodly apply in master degrees? So because now I'm ready and I want to apply in different kind of university, different type of different university, in order to maximize my chance to get the master's. Thank you.
Thanks for your question. I'm so sorry, I can't remember your name. Was it Tahir?
Yes, it is.
Tahir, okay. Thank you so much for such a clear question and explaining your situation so well. It sounds like you are very well informed and you're doing all of the right things to progress your education. I think you've raised a really good point, and it's making me think that we probably need to put on a new workshop, because at the moment we don't have any workshops specifically around applying for masters, but actually it is something that we're asked a lot about. So what I am going to do to here is go away and speak to my manager and see if we can maybe design a new workshop around applying for postgraduate degrees, because it is something that we get asked about a lot. I think for now, probably the best thing for us to do is for you to write into the advice line, again, mention my name, and perhaps either you and me can have a one-to-one advice session, or I can connect you up with somebody who might be able to support you just on a one-off basis. Yeah, there's that, but unfortunately we at RefuAid don't provide any specific support around applying for postgraduate courses. I don't know, Ilaria, whether RefuAid does.
Yeah, so let's say that going through the application process is something that we can definitely do. We are not going to be able to follow you exactly step by step, but what we can do, we can share info with you, what you need to do to apply when applying for a master's degree. Although I feel that comparing to a bachelor degree, that you need to go through UCAS and all that stuff, that might be a bit messy and confusing. I think that to apply for a master's degree is a bit more straightforward, also when it comes to deadlines. So if you want, I can share with you some documents that explain what you need to do to apply for a postgraduate course. I can share with you some documents about how to write a successful personal statement, and then if you have issues with that, you can then send the personal statement back to myself, and I'm gonna get one of my British colleagues, not myself, to proofread it if you would like to.
Thank you. That's really great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Should just point out that next week Amir Raki, who is actually in Manchester, is our teacher who has most often done sessions on applying for undergraduate and graduate courses. So he is going to do 3 sessions, undergraduate and graduate course applications, which maybe will help. He has some of those sessions online as well at our YouTube channel. And if you want another tutor or whatever to work with you on applications, we do have tutors to do that. And we also have some specialist engineering tutors who can work with you on the graduate applications. So we will put out a call in a couple of weeks for people who want tutors. But you can see that there are many tutors available for you, tutors and mentors, actually. So I think you will all have enough support.
Where can I find those tutors and mentors?
So Rosie has talked about some of them, Ilaria about others. Do you want to just recap?
Yeah, so from my from my end, you can either apply to our program. I dropped the link earlier. I can drop it again, or you can just send me an email, and I'm gonna explain you. Yeah, I'm gonna explain the whole process and how we can support. Let me drop again the application form here.
That'd be great. Yeah, it's way down on the list now. So.
Yeah.
And then Rosie, do you want to talk about what the limits and the possibilities from our UK side? Yeah.
Thanks, Corinne. So our mentoring program is really more around educational support rather than kind of application support. So in terms of mentoring for applications, unfortunately, we have very, very limited space. We currently only have 10 places for supporting with applications. If you do need support with applications, then do feel free to write to us on the advice line, and we can see if there are still spaces available on that support program. But probably we're not the best people to help you with specific mentoring for writing your university applications. Unfortunately, we're more giving advice, general advice, rather than kind of mentoring in that respect.
So that's good. You can get, our UK has advice, and then we do have a whole lot of tutors working with Olive who can help with applications and also with scholarship applications if you are an asylum seeker. So they are used to doing that, and yeah, we'll also be very happy to help. I think there is a whole set of possibilities for you here. Hopefully everybody here will be able to find some support that they need.
Thank you so much. That's really helpful. And as you mentioned something very interesting, Corinne, you said that there is some mentor and tutor. So where can I find those mentor and tutor? And and also Sherry, if I remember well, so she said also the tutor and mentor are more for education. I didn't understand that.
Oh, Rosie, yes.
Yeah, so our mentoring service is for people who are in education and they need support with the education that they're receiving, whether that's at college or at university, but it unfortunately has an age cutoff of 25. So it's only for people up to age 25.
Okay, get it. Thank you.
So then the Olive mentoring is tutoring is specifically for applications, and it's for anybody at any age. And we will ask next week for people who are wanting those tutors now. Some people will want tutors later in the year because they are not doing applications yet. So we will ask next week on the email. So just keep an eye on your email.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
I appreciate that.
I think we should draw this to a close because Rosie and Ilaria have been so nice to give so much time and help, and many generous offers for feedback and all the services that they provide. So thank you so much for being here. It's been really great to have you around and providing all these good ideas for people. Yeah, thank you. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. It was very nice. I hope this was helpful. And again, I mean, if anyone has any doubt related to the program and how we can help, everyone can just drop me a message on my personal email. And that's it. Good luck, everyone.
Yeah, thanks so much. It's been really nice to be here with you. And yeah, good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
See you
Thanks,
next week.
everybody.
Thank
Bye.
you, Rosie and Ilaria. Bye, everyone.